Now, let me tell you what's really going on with Mamdani right now. People in New York are not stupid. They hear the speeches, they see the energy, they see him out here talking about housing affordability and people getting pushed out. And a lot of them are saying, finally, 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 somebody's talking about what we're dealing with. And it's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So rent is not theoretical. Rent is that bill sitting on your table right now. It's that moment where you look at the bank account and say, how am I going to cover this and still eat? Look, four challenges facing New York City Mayor Mamdani. City Hall will deliver an agenda of safety, affordability, and abundance, where government looks and lives like the people it represents. This was the same message that propelled this 34-year-old Democratic socialist to the unexpected electoral victory in November. So his pitch is what started the cascading downward or all of those candidates for the Republican Party. He is what started that downfall because he was talking about affordability straight up. No dirt, no spin. He was one of the first ones out there talking like that. I'm not saying he was the only one. I'm just saying he was the first one that was propelled into the national spotlight. So rent is right now burning everybody up. Gas, food, everything. Everybody looked at their bank account at the time he got elected and said, how am I going to cover any of this? Food, gas, everything. Now everybody talking about gas. What it is watching the neighbor move out, getting kicked out, then another one, then another one, then another one. And now the whole block is broke. So Mamdani, who's standing there saying, we're going to build better, we're going to build faster, we're going to use the city, we're going to use what it's got to help the people. People are listening. I heard about that snowing those people, hiring those people for snow and getting rid of that snow that Mamdani did in New York. I heard about him clearing the streets, doing what he got to do for the streets in New York. I'm hearing about that. People are listening, not because they trust government to do anything, but because they want to trust him to do stuff. That's the difference. People want something to work. They want to stay in their homes. They want their kids to grow up in a good neighborhood. They want to stop feeling like the city is slowly pushing them out of the way. And Mamdani is tapping right into that want and that need. He's young, he's visible, he's everywhere, and that matters in a state like New York because we see it too when we ain't even in New York because New Yorkers don't represent somebody behind a desk. They respect somebody who show up. Look what happened when he paid those people $30 an hour to shovel snow. Everybody and their mama signed up, called off work just to get paid on that $30. People want to work. People want to do the right thing. Okay? So when he's out there talking directly to the people, asking them straight up, who here has thought about leaving the city? A lot of people say, hell yeah, I've been thinking about it because I can't afford it. People have the desire to do and make money and survive in this economic time. And Mamdani is giving them hope that this can change. What they're going through can change. Okay. What he promised costs money. Free healthcare, free buses, housing. Look, they just asked for $200 billion for this war. We could get healthcare for a lot of people for a long time if that money came back and stayed in the United States. I understand that New York is dealing with a lot of budget problems. I understand all of that. And now you got a situation where he's saying we got to tax the wealthy and we got to tax the corporate. Look, Bill Clinton did the same thing and he managed the budget, and that budget would have been on time to clear our debt by 2010. Then George Bush came along and fucked it all up. Then Obama tried to straighten it out. And then here come Trump doing the same thing that Bush did. Tax cuts for the wealthy, starting a war and crashing the economy. But Mamdani is not trying to do all that. He's trying to right the wrongs. He can't do it alone. He needs the state and the governor. So she's not fully on board either. So now people are watching him. You said you're going to do all this. How? We don't know. But it's not hate. It's hope. It's real life. But then again, you got to deal with Donald Trump. People got to deal with Donald Trump because let's not act like that don't matter. You got a president who already is calling Mamdani a problem, already threatening funding. And even though they went to the White House, shook hands, and it looked like Donald Trump was sucking up to Mamdani, when it was out of sight, out of mind, that ain't how it is. Okay? You got business leaders, the same people who control a lot of money in that Chicago, in New York, in Chicago, and all them places. They looking at him sideways. Some of them already saying taxes gonna go up. Taxes got to go up. In order for us to afford the things we need to afford here in the United States, taxes got to go up. And people hear that and say, okay, if they leave, what happens to the job? What happens to the economy if the companies leave? Because companies are threatening to leave and all that kind of stuff. We got to do what we got to do. Even if the taxes go up 4 or 5%, we got to do what we got to do. So now Mamdani is walking a tightrope. He's trying to help working people, but he also needs the people with money to stay. That's not easy. And let's talk about safety, because this is New York. People want to feel safe walking outside. Y'all can't be acting up in New York. Y'all got to clear their decks on them people who don't know how to act. Everybody wants to get on the train of straightening out this city, of straightening out this state. Crime can be down all day, but if people feel unsafe, that's a problem. So now he's trying to do some things that are different. Mental health program, outreach workers. But people are watching like, is this going to work? Is this really just talk that he's talking? So now you got all of this sitting on one person, Mamdani. Housing pressure, money problems, political fights, public safety. The point is the man is giving people hope, where in a world there ain't no hope. In a world where we don't see no opening from the black void that has been what Donald Trump has descended on this country. He walked into the position saying everything is meek and bleak and dark and they ain't no good to America, and then he proceeded to make it worse. Okay, we have expectations about Mamdani because people didn't just vote for this man. They believed in this man. They wanted this man to succeed. Now y'all do what it takes to make it succeed. Y'all do what it takes to make New York good. Maybe it'll be an example for the rest of us. Maybe you need to get somebody that can give you hope in your state. Okay. But he's at least talking about the real problems that are facing people. He's not pretending everything is fine. He's not trying to move faster than what we're used to. It's all in that city, New York. That's not enough to get people to lean in, but hope is. People are hoping. We're not saying a man is perfect. That's not what we're saying. It's about whether he can take all that energy, all that attention, all that belief, and actually turn it into something people can feel in their everyday life. Can he actually stabilize the rent? Can he get more housing built? Can he make people actually stay in New York City? The company stay there and be a part of this transition, be a part of this progress of the city? Because he wants to bring it forward and people want to believe what he's saying. People want to believe what he's saying. People are looking at Mamdani and saying, all right, you said it can happen. Now show us that it can happen and be honest about it. That's the fairest place he could be. That's the best position he can be. And, I'm all for it. Show us what you can do. And I see y'all in the next one.